in the movie Armageddon from the late 90s, there is a scene where this guy comes in and he's like rushed there and he's like some scholar, like some academic or something. He's finally rushed to the White House or whatever, and he's trying to advise them about what to do to save humankind. And and they're like, well, my advisors say we should do this and this and this. That's what like the president or whoever said. And this guy turns and said, I know the president's advisor or whatever. We went to MIT together. And in this case, I wouldn't take advice from someone who got a C minus in like aerodynamics or something like that. And that scene just like, oh my God, as a teenager, when I watched that scene, something inside me just went, like, oh my God. Like, I don't know how else to, I don't know how else to describe it. It was a turn on for me. That was a turn on. Now, like, that guy wasn't, he could have been a horrible person. I mean, it's a made up fictional character, but I understand that this kind of skill, or, this kind of wit or intellect, or like, it's kind of like academic badassness, which is so funny. It can be funny, but that kind of thing is a turn on for me. Now, this doesn't mean that like I I'm only attracted to college professors or whatever. I've never actually been attracted to a college professor, but there was a grad student once that was real nice. But anyway, that's my point. Is it's not just a blanket. It's not just that someone can be super smart and I'm into them. It's never been like that. But um, when there's like acts of like when you have pissing contests in an intellectual way, that's kind of a fun turn on for me. And especially when it comes from someone that I am also physically attracted to. And that's what makes me into someone. I can't connect with somebody if I am not, like, I can't connect with somebody sexually if I'm not connected with them intellectually. And I know that sounds kind of vague. What does that mean, connected with someone intellectually? It's kind of like a vibe. It's like but it's different. Vibe is more gut. This is like an intellectual vibe. It's a way of viewing the world. There's a little bit of mix of sense of humor. There's like something about the way your mind works, and for some reason I can sense these things like just on the first conversation, like one conversation. And it doesn't even have to be about something like academic or esoteric or deep or anything. It just be about nothing, just like, hi, how's it going, that kind of thing. And I can tell already if we connect intellectually. And that is so important for me. I have been attracted to somebody before. We're gonna go on a walk because my dog is barking. I have been attracted to somebody's physical appearance, but then as soon as I found out that we did not vibe intellectually, then my attraction for them was gone. So, hey, baby, come on in here. So that again confirms, right? That's important. That's a standard, that I have to vibe with them intellectually first. So that means I'm sapiosexual, correct? Right? I don't think I could have sex with somebody that I didn't vibe with in an intellectual way on some level. And since I'm an Aquarius rising, and since I have PTSD and therefore have trauma and have experienced the world so differently than most people, um, I'm going to have a different perspective. My mind's going to work differently. And it just, all of it, and in the autism thing, all of it just makes it so that there's very few people, like, this doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often that I connect with someone intellectually like that. I can be friends with people that I don't necessarily connect with in some way. I'd have to. I had to learn to at some point. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any friends. So that it's not like I'm only talking to someone that I vibe with intellectually. You know, it's not like that at all. But it definitely is a requirement in order to sleep with them. It is definitely a requirement in order to have an intimate relationship. Uh, so that's it, right? Is that it? That's sapiosexual? I should know. I should know. Technically, I'm a millennial. And but even though that shocks me, I didn't know I was millennial. I thought I was Generation X. I even got a flyer in sixth grade asking me, so this is like 95, 96, what it felt like to be a part of Generation X. That's a true story. And so now they have like the new rules are actually millennials encompass all of the early 80s. And that's changed. That has changed. And I think there are a lot of people I ran across the term exennials, like XE, like people are at least acknowledging that there's this branch that's a mix of the two. There's this little group of us from like 80 to 83, and we're like, I I'm not, I'm a millennial. Like forever when people thought about we're talking about millennials, I didn't think they were talking about me. I thought they were talking about people that were younger than me, obviously. Like that's just weird. Anyway, I just went on a tangent there about how I feel generationless. I don't feel like a millennial, but I definitely am not a a Generation X person. And that's kind of why I'm exploring this topic, was because I am very open minded. I think. I think. But what does that even mean? But like, in terms of sexuality and whatever, like a millennial is notoriously known to be, but culturally, I feel very much Gen X, and so whatever. So I'm trying, but I've never actually explored this whole like it's not my mission. It's not my life mission to really dive deep and explore and define myself in this part of my life, like in gender, and I just always am what I am, and I kind of like that. Like I don't want to be defined. I don't want limits like that, and I just am what I am. I'm pretty sure that I'm at this point that I'm a unique person, even though it took me a long time to realize that. Um, so whatever, but I wanted to make sure because I use that term sapiosexual. Uh, I feel like I use it to describe myself, but I want to make sure that I'm using it correctly. Like, am I sapiosexual? Because there are other things that turn me on, so that's okay, right? Is it just the trait of being turned on? Is it the trait of being turned on by intellect? Does it have to be um? Does it have to be a certain kind? And you can be turned on by other things, or is it just like that's the only thing that turns you on, like if you're heterosexual or if you're homosexual, like you're only turned on by the same gender or the opposite gender or whatever gender, I don't, you know. um and it's so, and on that realm, oh, do I even want to answer that question? I honestly just feel like as long as they have, I just require a member. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the cleanest way I can say that. As long as there's a member present and I dig you, I mean, yeah. But I don't, we don't have to name your gender, you know. I'm probably a mix of a bunch of different things, you know. But it's cool that other people are exploring that because that's what every generation has. Every generation helps push humanity a little bit further and define itself and become more polished and explore. And every generation kind of takes on their own uh, area, their own topic, you know, and so it's all just part, you know, I can't wait to see, it's all part of it, part of the growth of humanity. So I can't wait to see what the next generation takes on, you know. So don't be so freaked out by it. But this is my only dip into the millennial, like um, gender rights, gender existence, you know, and that whole exploratory thing. is I just want to make sure, that I've described myself. So am I sapiosexual? I think so, right? I just want to make sure I'm using the term correctly. So let me know, fellow millennials that are supposedly my kin. Please, if you understand, please, I want to make sure I'm using it correctly. All right, that's all I gotta say. All right, bye.